Hello and welcome back to Ultimate Marble Racing Season 5. We are back with race number 15, Ski Slopes Multilap by Snorker. So this one had a bit of demand for it following the Christmas stream. People quite enjoyed the track and a Multilap version was made because it was a sprint race. Pretty sure it was a sprint race when we first did it. Trying to remember now. I think it was, but it is a Multilap track now. So we have the Multilap version of it because there are two versions on the workshop. You may have been at that stream. May have. But yeah, we have the Multilap version. People thought the track was really good and thought it could be quite good to put into the season. So it is here. Now, Azur is leading quite the strong lead right now, 309 points in first. And Boy and Superboss tied for seconds. Like they're wanting more food. For second place. And Fluids in the last race getting knocked out of the top 3. But only 2 points behind. It's all very close. So let's head over to the track. So here we are. The snowy wonderland. The ski slopes. So let's head over to the start line, and before we take a look around the track, it is prediction time. So start the predictions. Boy's been on quite a roll with these predictions. We'll see if that continues for this race. 2 minutes to get those predictions in. You remember absolutely nothing? Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. Happens to us all. So straight away you've got some obstacles to avoid before going to a spinner. The spinner will drop you out and down over some ski ramps. And then you have to navigate your way down the ski slopes, avoiding the other skiers, got to be careful of them. Going around the slalom and then down past the surfboarders. What am I on about today? Snowboarders. We're on snow, not water. And then through the penguin section, wave to the penguins as you go past. And then we go down to the very cool, if I might say, ski lift. So you queue up here, jump on the ski lift, and your snow is what that is true. Technically is, so I guess you could surf on snow. And then we go up to the very top. Remember the ski lift. Yeah, you can't forget that. And then round a sweeping bend, down the bobbly bit. Bump down there, into some sweeping bends. Again, avoid the snowboarders and skiers. And down into the half pipe, go back and forth down here. Make your way out the end, and then there's another bit of a slalom, zigzag back and forth. And you have two routes here. You have the skinny route that is a little bit quicker, or you have to go around the other way, which has some obstacles and some icy jumps you have to get around. And then through the trees, go through the log if you want. There is a booster in here, nice icy booster, and around to the portal. So it is a portal that takes you back to the start. And yeah, it's a very good looking track. And the atmosphere of this map is perfect for it. So yeah, it's a portal back to the start. It's not quite like a completed loop with track in between. But that is fine. Just have to whiz back to where they come out. And then you've got to get past these candy canes with spinning little, what I think are meant to be trees, the little Christmas trees at the bottom. And then through the spinners under those trees, and then around to the start finish. So let's get everyone spawned in and put a pause on the time. Front row. Look at all that grey. Tower the Balls of Steel didn't have a great race last time. Fluids, Cheese, Stardust and Boy starting on the front row. And at the back row, Demon, Azure, Alfonso, and Pescibird, 2 of the green slushies there. And what is that? Alfonso with the trail, the fiery trail. There it is, ball of fire. Better spot them from anywhere. And that was for the Twitch sub, the Prime sub. Remember, if you have Amazon Prime, every month you have a free sub that you can use on Twitch to anyone that you follow. Costs you nothing, comes with your Prime subscription. So don't forget to use them and support your favorite creators. And if it's me, then you'll also get a trail, and look at it, it's proving to work well. Alfonso, the ball of fire, up at the front going onto the ski lift. Eggbot, Shady, oh, Wheat just squeezing in there, a bit risky, and Jimmy. Shady not quite getting on that first group. Tell you what, we're going to be able to see Alfonso from a mile away with that trail. Always going to know where they are on track. And keeps hold of the lead on the exit. Eggbot and Weep side by side going down the bumpy section. And on the release, Weep and Eggbot with a better line, but Alfonso with a better release gets in front of Eggbot. But Weep's going to try and break away. Jimmy and Shady just behind. Further back, see what's going on. We've got Demon, Stardust, Superboss, Pescibird, Azure, Moo, Cheese, Fluids, Iceman, Snorker, and then Whir currently in last. But the top 5 breaking away right now from the rest of the pack. In the half pipe, back and forth they go. Bit rough there by Iceman. Moo's had a big hit on the wall, so has Fluids. Big slowdown, going to lose them time at the back. Alfonso and Wheat battling it out at the front, both taking the shortcut. Jimmy as well. Eggbot and Shady Superboss opting for the slower route round, so does Azure and Snorker. And through the portal they go. Cheese, Iceman, Moo going the shorter route. Snorker has managed to get stuck. That's going to be F's in the chat for Snorker. And not only Snorker, F's in the chat as well for Fluid, stuck on the slalom. That is two people stuck already. And 2 potential DNFs. So up at the front, Jimmy actually taking the lead. Alfonso having some trouble with the ramps. Eggbot's going to come through into second. Weep's going to fall down to 4th. Demon in 5th. Demon being quite a surprise today. Alfonso doesn't make it onto the ski lift first this time around. Shady's going to give them all a nudge, but doesn't join them. There's a bit of a roll back there. Having trouble getting going. Weep's going to roll back again. That's going to be quite costly. Going up the hill. This has given loads of time for Jimmy and Eggbot to break away up at the front. Heading down the bobbly hill. Jimmy down first. The Eggbot lunging in front, timing that perfectly, will slow Jimmy down. And Eggbot, everyone's favourite, taking the lead. Now, if Fluge can get knocked free, there is a chance for them to get past Snorker. Maybe at least gain 1 position. Going into the corner, there's the hit. Fluge's on the move again. And that cost Eggbot a position. Now Fluge's going around the outside, staying out of the way of the 2 in the lead, is going to be very kind and set Snorker free. Not the smartest competitive mood, but when it comes to team spirit, all good, all good. But that does mean Snorker has now got... Oh no, Flute has held that position going into the candy canes. So a little battle going on at the back between Fluids and Snorker. They'll be fighting out for 15th and 16th. And Jimmy and Eggbot battling it out up at the front. Eggbot now has Snorker in the way to deal with. Having trouble over the jumps. Jimmy's going to break away. And going into the Penguin section, Jimmy extending that lead. Going to get held up at the stair lift, but makes it on. Snorker doesn't squeeze on there. His Flues will be just behind, but Eggbot too slow to it. Stardust doesn't make it on. The Stardust will be joined by Alfonso. And nearly Shady. Nearly Shady. They've got Weep, Moo, Superboss, Iceman, Demon all piling in. And up to the top we go. On the release, Fluge is going to be causing some disruption here in front of Alfonso. And Eggbot and Stardust just behind. Now these back runners are going to give Jimmy a good chance of extending that lead even more. Eggbot and Alfonso really battling it out. Going into the half pipe, see what happens on the exit. Alfonso with more speed will go around the outside of Eggbot. Moo coming through past Stardust. Jimmy, Snorker and Flute opting for the slower way around. So does Alfonso. Moo's going to go for the quicker route. So does Stardust. This could be a chance. Depends how quick the others make it round the wider route. We'll come out. Oh, nearly in front of Eggbot, but couldn't quite time the block. So both routes are very, very similar on time. If you can get around the longer route quick enough, you can carry some good speed as long as you don't hit too many of the obstacles. You can also try and block as Boer tried to do to Demon there, but great exit line by Boer. Rough hit on the wall. Iceman's going to come past going into the portal. So going up to the front. Jimmy still with a strong lead. Eggbot and Alfonso, second and third. Going over the ramps. Fastest lap for Cheese. It was with Fludes, but Cheese just taking that fastest lap. Currently in 9th. Boer with a great line through there is going to find their way around the ramps and also around Cheese and Stardust. And Demon just behind Cheese with a great exit line there would jump in front of Boer for the cue to the stairlift. Oh, Demon doesn't quite make it on. We'll have to wait with Pesky Bird and Iceman. There's some trouble on the lift. On the upward section, Shady having some issues. Having some troubles getting up there. See Jimmy. Oh, and Azur is stationary. Azur, our current leader in the season, is stationary. So that's going to be F's in the chat for Azur. And this is good news for Fludes and Snorker, who gain a position each. Moo gives Azur a little nudge, but it's not enough. This could be a bad spot for Azur. Could see Azur getting a DNF here, which I'm sure everyone else will be happy with, as it gives them a chance of fighting back. But Azur does get pushed moving again by Boer, and will now be in Boer's way. In fact, slowing Boer down. But this is going to cost Azur some points in the standings. See Weep heading towards the portal. Stardust just behind, followed by Superboss, Cheese, Shady. Demon's going to come past Boer and Pesky Bird, but Boer's going to fight back, push Demon against the wall and squeeze through. Then we have Iceman. And up at the front, we can see that gap now. Jimmy just going through the Penguin section. Eggbot and Alfonso are still battling it out for second and third. Just coming down now. Just going into the Penguin section. as Jimmy's going up the lift, and a great exit line for Alfonso will move up to second. And Snorker trying to get in between to cause some chaos. And Moo just behind. There's a little gap back to Weep, Stardust, Superboss, and Cheese. Cheese still holding the fastest lap. Now Snorker's going to sit in front of Eggbot and Alfonso here. Could cause a bit of trouble for them. Lap 5 out of 6, Jimmy looking very clear. Very strong performance for this whole race. Just got into the lead and held it. Well, a little collision there between Alfonso and Snorker, but a bit of a tactical play for Alfonso to get a lot of speed on the exit, but Eggbot is going to read it perfectly and block Alfonso. Going through the slalom. Running a bit slow through the single file section. Bit of pushing and shoving going on. Now Alfonso with the better release. Pushing Eggbot against the wall. And going into the portal, they'll be side by side. Coming out the other side, Eggbot is going to be leading through the candy canes. And Flude still trying to chase down Snorker as well. Some extra points. Going on to the final lap, Jimmy still with a strong lead. Eggbot in second, Alfonso in third. Stardust with some good speed there. Gaining a couple of positions, but just getting blocked by Moo. So Moo currently in fourth, Stardust in fifth. Weep trying to get past Superboss, but the obstacles are causing some trouble. Going to be side by side. Superboss will come out in front, but a bad hit on the ramp. Weep's going to go around the outside. Cheese is going to go over the jump. Not quick enough to get past Superboss though. Snorker and Fludes are side by side. See everyone piling into the lift. But Jimmy up at the front. Quite a chill race for Jimmy. Just making it look easy. Effortless. Now we go further back. There's Eggbot coming down. Eggbot's actually closing the gap on Jimmy, but I think it's too little too late. A few more laps and maybe Eggbot could have challenged for first. I don't think this is going to be enough. Especially hitting all those obstacles on the outside line. Yeah, Eggbot really choking it there. Oh, Snorker and Flude's going two different ways. We'll see what happens. Flude is going to hit a few obstacles as well. Does get the boost, but isn't quick enough around that outside route. Have to quickly head up to the top because Jimmy's about to cross the line and take the win. A great race by Jimmy, taking the win. Eggbot, a good performance, managing to hold off Alfonso. Will take second. And Alfonso is going to cross the line in third. With the fire blazing behind. Superboss taking the fastest lap on the last lap. Comes across the line in fourth. Grabbing that extra point. Moo in fifth. Weep in sixth. Close here between Cheese and Stardust, but Cheese is going to squeeze in front of Stardust and will take seventh. Stardust in eighth. Iceman in ninth. Demon will come across in 10th. It looks like Boyer managed to get past Shady and will be taking 11th. Shady will take 12th. And then we have a bit of a gap back now to Pesky Bird, who will come across in 13th. And then we'll see what happens with Snorker and Fludes. What position will the two of them be in when the DNF timer finishes? Or they might actually have time to cross the line, because Pesky Bird's only just coming down to the line now. Could have been worse. Yeah, definitely could have been worse than 11th. Finishing ahead of the person in first when you're in second on the standings is always positive. But it's not going to be enough points to close that gap enough. But it is going to mean everyone can close the gap on Azur with a finish like that. Now we're going to speed things up, see what happens with the other positions. Where are Snorker and Fludes right now? It looks like Snorker has a good lead over Fludes right now. Going into the candy canes. Got it on high speed here. Ooh, different lines, but no, Snorker has the better line through there. Was close, but Snorker will go across the line in front of Fludes. And that means Azur will have the 16th position. So over to our winning marble cam, Jimmy. You see the fire of Alfonso squeezing in there. Great camera angles here. Congratulations to Jimmy, great race. Just making it look easy out at the front. A brilliant performance, and look at that, the top three all in a row displaying themselves. But Jimmy does take the win. So I guess I'm going to put the results on, but we're waiting for the DNFs, and there they are. And Azur did cross the line and finish, so 0 DNFs. So prediction outcome, and look at that. I think that's a Boer getting the correct outcome yet again. So well done to Boer once again on getting the prediction right. Absolutely on fire with those predictions. But now I'm going to go put the results on the leaderboard, and I'll be back in just a minute with the updated standings. Alright, the results have been entered. I see the hydrate getting redeemed as well. So let's head over to the standings. So following that race, as not picking up as many points with the last place, 314 points in first. Superboss now in second, closing that gap, 297. Jimmy coming up into the top three with 293 points. Moo in fourth with 281. Boer getting knocked down to fifth with 280 points. Fludes in sixth with 274. Iceman in seventh with 266. Cheese in eighth with 264. Weep in ninth with 258. And Stardust in 10th with 253. Below that we have Snorker, Pesky Bird, Eggbot, Shady, Alfonso, and Dima. I tell you what, Snorker had a strong start to the season and has just been falling down the standings since. Outside of the top 10 is a rough one for Snorker at the moment. And yes, Balls of Steel in a bad situation too, as in the team standings, with Jimmy taking that win and Iceman with a strong 9th place. Icebreakers go into first with 273, but they are tied with Tutti Frutti. Balls of Steel getting pushed down to third with 269 points. Doge Balls in fourth with 262. Marble Minions in fifth with 260. And then we have the Snowballs, Ultraviolets, Green Slushies, Eternal Darkness, and Grand Masters. So quite the race. Couple of good races once again in this stream. And Balls of Steel in a rough situation right now. Going to need to pull it back to reclaim that team standing first place. They're looking quite dominant up at the top, but that has been thrown out by the Icebreakers and Tutti Frutti. And Azur going strong. Rough last race, but still holding that lead. But the gaps are closing. It's all still fairly close. as we are just about at the halfway mark. What race was this? I've literally already forgotten. I think we're like 1 or 2 races away from the halfway point now. I think next stream is the halfway point. And next stream is tomorrow, and it will be Office Madness and Collision Course. So, got that to look forward to. Time does fly. These do go by quite quickly. You know, time flies when you're having fun. But that is going to do it for this one. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.